I'm a fan of whoever's winning. This is not fair weather. That's it. But I've already announced it. It's who I am. Okay. You'll see me with the good seats too. Okay. Maybe I rooted against the team yesterday, but now I'm all there. JJ Redick hired as Lakers coach despite having no experience. Do they do affirmative action the other way in the NBA? Asking for a friend. Listen. This is what they were looking for. They got their man, former longtime NBA shooting guard, JJ Redick, who has no prior coaching experience in the league.
With millions watching and many people benefiting from this program called Indisputable, we just need 1% of the viewers to become a paid member so we can continue to bring this content to you. Now back to the show.
Introduced Monday as the Los Angeles Lakers' next coach. Redick replaces Darvin Ham, who was fired in May after 2 seasons with the Lakers. Even Darvin's looking like, are you for real? Yep. Hope they got you all paid up on your way out, Darvin. Redick said about his qualifications for the position, I have 0 coaching experience in the NBA. Do you see how now that I respect. I don't know why I'm here. I don't know why they hired me, but I took the flight. They sent the tickets and I'm here. I have 0 coaching experience in the NBA. But I would argue that I'm very experienced. And it started 22 years ago when I went to Duke and I got to play for Coach K for 4 years. Spent 15 years as an NBA player, he said. Yeah, but JJ, the problem is, does everybody get this shot? At least he was honest. I haven't coached 1 NBA game, not an assistant. Was he ever a ball boy? Can the team check on that in the NBA? I'm getting thumbs down. Okay, he did not serve as the ball boy. No, 0. Now he's got the keys to one of the most storied franchises in NBA history. The house that Magic, Kareem, and Kobe and Shaq built. You done gave the keys to JJ Redick. Okay. Now, I like the guy, but I'm just saying, this is crazy. Somebody let him put out that statement. CNN with the details. And I think Coach K is great too, but I'm a Georgetown girl, so we did clown Bobby Hurley and Christian Laettner. We yelled some terrible things that I'm not proud of. Okay, stay on track. We did, and it was wrong then. There's a whole documentary, I Hate Christian Laettner, and I enjoyed it, okay? Redick said the past 3 years in which he worked as a podcaster and ESPN analyst have been invaluable in his preparation. Being able to connect with the players, talking to them on the podcast, being in coaching interviews with ESPN, calling games, analyzing the game in 3 different formats. All of that has helped prepare me to be an NBA head coach, he said. Redick played 15 seasons in the league, 6 teams, before becoming an NBA analyst for ESPN, 2021. And even then, he blew it up. And didn't he and Stephen A. Smith get into it a few times? I like JJ. He speaks his mind. All right, asked by a reporter whether he had heard any misconceptions or concerns about himself in recent weeks during the hiring process that he felt the need to dispel, Redick was blunt. It's a valid question, and I've certainly heard everything. However, I don't really have a great answer for your question because I really don't give a F. Okay, I'm liking him even more. He admits that he was not the most qualified candidate for the job. He admits he has no experience. And he says, I don't care. Okay? Like, honestly, he said, I want to coach the Lakers. I want to coach the team. I don't want to dispel anything. I want to become a great coach in the NBA. Well, you apparently get to learn on the job. Not everybody gets that opportunity. I did hear Juwan Howard, who was an NBA assistant for years, coach of Michigan for years, member of the Fab Five. I think he took an assistant job somewhere. He wasn't offered. Not qualified enough, I guess. Lakers Vice President of Basketball Operations, General Manager Rob Pelinka said at the news conference it was very evident that he had a unique perspective and philosophy on basketball and how it's to be taught. Pelinka said he and Redick share a basketball philosophy. It was very similar. It was based on high-level strategy. It was based on a certain way of communicating with players and teaching them, as well as prioritizing player development. He could have gone on and hired Skip Bayless if is that what the job description said? Skip thinks he knows everything. He's always talking about development and who should do this, who should do that. Redick indicated, can we put up a picture of Redick again? Redick indicated he'd still have to have a conversation with Lakers star LeBron James. You have to certainly get buy-in and talk to him about how he wants to play. Redick said, really just figuring out. And that now, do you see this? There is no coach. I'm going to hire a good friend of the King. They were doing a podcast together. So can we stop this now? Now, Wills, don't ruin the punchline. I see, but you understand what's going on here. Okay. Apparently, Kevin Hart was part of the recruiting team here to get the right coach in place. He wants to have a talk, get buy-in, talk to LeBron about how he wants to play. Redick said it's really just figuring out in the half court, putting him in different spots, both as a scorer and facilitator. One thing to note is that Redick co-hosts a basketball podcast with James. And Bronny could end up there too. So really, they're having a little bromance here, friendly. And I think we understand who's going to be calling the plays. Maybe there won't be any plays. You just go get him, Tiger. Meanwhile, Stephen A. Smith questioned the timing of the podcast because it launched while Darvin Ham was on the hot seat for the Los Angeles Lakers, calling it a very egregious thing to do. Y'all so messy. Jeannie Buss, I'll give you a proper press release in a moment. I'm going to tell you what actually went down here, but I'm going to read what the team has uncovered here. Smith revealed that it was other NBA coaches who were upset with the timing of the podcast first. Black coaches called a black commentator to complain about a black superstar doing a podcast while his black head coach was on the hot seat before he ultimately lost the damn job, Smith said. Stephen A. Smith has a really big mouth. And sometimes, but that's okay. He has a big mouth and he's onto something here. Now, I can tell you this is how it really went. LeBron called up Jeannie Buss and said, look, I'll leave. I want Bronny on the team and get rid of Ham. And she said, well, who do you want to coach the team? You don't want me to bring Phil Jackson back, do you? Nope. Give me Redick. Who? JJ Redick. Okay. Boy, let's come up with a backstory first. And so all this other nonsense. I think the only thing positive here, and JJ Redick may end up being a great coach, because it does happen. It's just about the process, you see, woes. But I like the fact, this is the only thing I like. Besides that, this was funny. You laughed out loud, okay? Busted a few stitches as I was going through the details. It wasn't distracting to me because I expected it. The only thing I like is that JJ Redick was very honest here. I have zero experience. I don't give a.
So there's a decent amount of precedent for players going straight from the league, basically, and into head coaching positions. Previously, the Knicks hired Derek Fisher to do this. Steve Nash was hired by the Nets to do this. Jason Kidd also was hired. I think, was he in Brooklyn first or Milwaukee first? I forget which one was first, but Jason Kidd didn't do any assistant coaching. Although after he got fired from Milwaukee, he became an assistant with the Lakers, won a championship with LeBron, and then became a head coach. And now, honestly, he's one of the best head coaches in the league, in my humble opinion. This is just what goes down. A lot of times, superstars will call their shot. In the case of the Brooklyn Nets, like KD and Kyrie were basically like, yeah, we want to get Steve Nash up in here. They ended up turning on the guy, but they're the guys that got him in, right? I don't really have that big of a problem with JJ getting this job of him, quote unquote, skipping the line, because in my opinion, former players, the guys who actually build the league into the money-making machine that it is, to me, they deserve to enjoy some of the spoils. So if they get a job in management, they get a job in coaching that they, quote unquote, didn't deserve, I don't have a problem with it. I think former players should have more equity in the sport than everybody else. That's just my opinion. And so whether this works out or not, I don't really have a huge problem. Now, the process by which this happened was freaking utterly ridiculous, okay? JJ already has a very successful independent podcast company on his own. I'm talking about millions of dollars from DraftKings or FanDuel, one of the gambling companies, to fund his stuff. Like, he gets incredible guests. He's a very thoughtful podcaster. I myself, full disclosure, I'm a fan of JJ's podcast. But the idea that he would basically run a PR campaign with LeBron James on their podcast where all they talk
Messy.
about is coaching. They basically just talk
Yeah.
about basketball strategy for an hour and change on every single podcast. It basically was a commercial
Yeah,
for
it is.
JJ Redick as potential coach. And then he ends up coaching LeBron's team.
Yeah.
It's just,
It's messy. Look,
Hollywood
they-
wouldn't write something
Thank
like
you.
this.
And Sheree and them in Kenya, they're not even this messy on the Housewives franchise. Do you understand me? Okay. Stop it, JJ.
It was
By the
messy.
way, Carmelo Anthony said Kobe wouldn't like this.
Oh,
Rob
really?
Pelinka was his agent for a long time, then the general manager. He said he didn't like JJ Redick, mostly because when he was at the national team, what I heard of the clip, and Coach K was coaching it, remember that time?
Mhm.
And all Coach K would do was JJ this and JJ that. So it hurt Kobe. He went at him. He went at him. Even other players, other stars said, why are you going at JJ so hard? I can't stand it. All I got to hear about him. So there's that. And I like Derek Fisher as a coach. I had forgotten some of his story. Remember when Matt Barnes drove across the country to beat him up? It's water under the bridge. Now Fisher's married to Barnes' ex-wife. I watched that reality show, The Barnes Bunch. You ever watch that, Wo?
The Barnes Bunch? No, I have not. What is that? Is that Matt
This
Barnes
is-
and his family?
Got a lot of kids,
Mm.
supermodels, the new wife. Anyway, I need to stay focused. I need you to stay focused. I don't want you bringing this kind of stuff up because that's not
I
what
didn't
we're
do-
talking
I didn't
about
say
here.
anything.
I need you to relax, okay? We're going to stay. If we have time at the end, I'll allow you to bring that up. But for now, we're going to move on, okay? Respectfully, we're going to move on.